corresponding movements that help them remember and make connections to the sounds in their letters.
So
The letters and their sounds.
So did you see any struggling students?
Yes.
What did you do with those kids?
So those kids needed to practice and have a lot more exposure to the letters and the sounds, and just continuing using those in context, so giving them words. What letter do you hear in the word dog? And they tell you the first letter. So putting the sounds in context, I think, helps, instead of just having them try to think about coming up with the name of a letter.
So did you also use the dictations?
Right, so the students also in the sand would write the letters, or we'd either say, write the letter that says this sound, and they write it in the sand, or what sound does this letter make? So often having them write down as well.
So we talked about the students that the skills that the students needed, and which was actual understanding of letters and sounds to be able to get them to where they are now, which is what are they doing now?
So now they're starting to be able to read, so they are, combining all the sounds to form words and beginning to decode the words and using that to start reading.
So do you do this in small group or individualized or whole class?
So the size of the class makes it easier to do groups and group the students based on their levels. So often, start by going over with the whole class what the foundational skills of the sounds and the letters, or combination of blends, or whatever we may be doing. So doing that as a whole class to make sure everybody has that basic understanding, and then taking it further with the students that need more support and help with it by breaking into groups.
And all this to do what?
To aid in comprehension.
Aid in comprehension. So what happens to the kids, because we're bilingual, what happens to the kids that don't have vocabulary? What are you suggesting?
So a lot of times we will do things in Spanish and English, and in addition it helps to have a lot of anchor charts and have visuals for the students that can't quickly recall something in English because they don't have the vocabulary for it, but if they see a picture of it, then they're able to remember what it is or realize what it is.
Do you think it would be helpful if they go use a graphic organizer for the vocabulary?
Definitely. So, in their notebooks, they have phonics notebooks where they write down all the words that are magic E words, or all the words that are R blends or L blends. So they have something that they themselves can refer back to. So not only can they look around the classroom at all the anchor charts, but they also have their own personal resources that they can use.
So what do you think should be done differently the next time? Like if you have a kid who comes in mid-year, what would you do differently with that kid?
I think, something that I've noticed is really that the kids aren't able to make connections, or they have a hard time, recalling information, as well as understanding more abstract concepts. So, I think always trying to make your lessons and all the skills you're trying to teach relatable to them, so that it aids in their comprehension, because otherwise, if it's not something that's important to them or something they care about, then they're not interested at all. So I think just making sure that each student connects with the material in some way
And how would you prompt them to use the strategies that you've been teaching them?
I think, it's important to show that there are a variety of strategies that the students can use. So either they can tap out the sounds that they hear, or they can pound out the syllables. So providing them with the different amount of strategies there are, I think, gives them choice, and then it helps them figure out what works best for them, like themselves.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think about, because you're a bilingual classroom, how do you help them with communication? What are some examples of the things that you've done so far?
Right. So a lot of times, we prompt them to speak in English if they can, but I think not pushing them to, if they don't have the vocabulary, is important. So, letting them still speak in Spanish, or, doing some translation in the sense of, oh, what is this word? What is this word in English? What is this word in Spanish? So having them see those connections. Because a lot of times, with these two languages, there are words in Spanish that sound very similar to those in English,
Right.
or vice versa.
So you
that
use
helps.
cognates to help them communicate even more.
Right.
Okay, so for
Pardon the interruption, staff. This announcement is on behalf of Mr. Beal.